We have got some tricky price action this week. We'll take a look at what we have for today, Wednesday, 22nd of November. This is the midweek market analysis. My name is Dima, and let's have a look at the charts that we started with earlier in the week. We've got our shortlist here on the right hand side, and we're going to start with the dollar. But of course, before that, let's look at what we have on the calendar as always. Of course, that's where we begin. So here we are. We've had Monday's news, we've had Tuesday's news, CAD, pound there, and euro, and we had the FOMC. That was a major one. And now that FOMC is hit, for today, Wednesday, we've got the dollar on New York, and we also have had euro news. We've had a speech from the Royal Bank of Australia, and then later we'll have a speech from Bank of Canada. These are the news to bear in mind for today, and then also just taking a look at tomorrow. We've got a bit of euro, pound as well, and there is a dollar and yen bank holiday. Let's catch up with the charts. So there is some news, continuing news this week, and the FOMC has passed the big one. Let's look at the dollar. So reviewing the dollar once again, we'll go through everything one by one. Looking at the dollar once again, here's that daily. We were looking for the target to the low here to be hit. It did not hit. We are now having a retracement, and it's a kind of no man's land because we don't want to sell. We're at a cheap price, and we also don't want to buy because at the moment it's in a kind of no man's land situation, and there is no good reason to buy. Therefore, still going to look at this area as an area to trade into. At the moment, I don't know what's going to happen. It's a bit uncertain. We haven't broken through this level. We haven't retraced to a better price. We have our invalidation here at the high. So this is the testing moment, the testing time when the patience is really tested, and how consistent can you be, wait for the right setups, even if they take longer. That's the unclarity, let's call it, on the dollar at the moment. Let's keep that in mind as we go into the euro dollar. And this is what we looked at on euro dollar, looking at this high to be hit, and this high did hit even though the dollar did not hit the low. So we were looking to close higher and continue. That was one option, which did not happen. We wicked through the level, and as you can see, we have had a reversal pin bar. And now the idea becomes, well, are we going to go into the downside, which would be this idea right here. Let's have a look on the lower time frame, and we can see that rejection of that level. Now the question becomes, are we going to break through? So what we see is a bit of a level that has developed here, and this level that's developed here, we're going to watch for what happens. Now, how are we going to do this? Well, it's a bit tricky since we don't have any clarity here, but the thing to note is, if we do have a break of this level, then we get a better price. Then it seems more likely that we'll go to the downside, and the idea for the next target would be, of course, here, and then into our initial zone, initial area that we wanted to buy from, into here. So far, none of it is really clear. Just like with the dollar, it's the inverse of the dollar, and what you can see is once we've hit this high, we're looking to reverse. However, there's no quite enough clarity for that to be the case. We're still very, very bullish, and you don't want to fight this bullish trend. At the moment, we need to have some real clarity before we want to take the sell. Here's a bit of a trend line. Maybe we'll reach into the trend line, maybe not. I don't know. At the moment, we are just going to wait and see what happens? This is the first idea. Of course, we still have the initial idea, which would ideally be this. That would be preferable. And then we also have still this option available. These are the different scenarios. Let's see if any of them work out or not. The main thing is to watch for the price action, and as the news hit yesterday, we may have further dollar news or euro news, and that will really be a clue or a merging of the technicals with the news calendar. That's the idea so far. Let's see how it plays out. Okay. Right, so that's the euro dollar. Now let's look at the euro pound. Euro pound, we had a complete breakdown, and then in fact we have invalidated this low. We did not head higher. What does that now mean? Now let's reassess. So let's go back again to the weekly. We can see that the weekly is still bullish. We've got this low that was created here, so that is the reference point. And looking at the daily, what we can see is this level as well that we still have remaining, and we just tapped into it. We may tap into it again. Now the invalidation now becomes this low, and since we are going higher, euro pound is now choppy. We have not reached quite into this target yet. We're still looking bullish, not being afraid of this bearish candle. The market had just invalidated the idea, and now we look to the next one. What we can do is draw a fib, and if we draw that fib from the low to the high, we see here is the 61.8 point. We've gone down into a cheap area, so any area down here in the cheap zone would be a possibility for buy scenario. And that would be really preferable because we have the overall low here. We're now stepping back, looking at the higher time frame. And if we get a swing, if we get a reversal and the market does want to push higher, we see that price action, then there will be an idea to continue on to the buy scenario. Okay, now what would invalidate that? Well, we'll have the invalidation here. If we break right through here, then we're no longer going to consider it. And we also have next reference point to break through is there, which is quite a distance away. Let's now delete this. Let's now get rid of this. And this, we no longer need that. So now that we're down here, got a reference point, and let's see whether we have the continuation. So we'll have to wait for that. And it's actually a good thing that we're getting a better price, a lower price, because now the risk to reward from down here of this risk to this upside becomes greater. The upside is bigger. That's the euro pound. Let's move on to CAD yen. And CAD yen, the way we started the week is we said before reaching this low, we want to get a retracement to get a better price. That did not occur. The market had other ideas, and in fact, it reached into this low and reversed off the low. And because of that, I can no longer say that this is high probability because we have reached the initial target. This is still an invalidation point. We're going to keep this level as a reference. And what do we see? Well, we are, if we just zoom out now, let's get a bit of context. We are in this higher time frame range. And as you know, from the previous video and the videos before that, ranging markets are no good. Really want to see a break of it in either direction before making a decision to either to buy or sell. And so far, we do not have that. We have this brief wick to the downside, which means we could possibly go higher because we're still stuck inside this range. So at the moment, we don't know. This becomes the first invalidation point. If we break through here, let's just call this a break instead and a question mark. So you want to see that on the daily. Indication so far is to the downside because we had a low broken here and then we had another low broken here, as you can see with this target. So we had one and there's the second one. Okay, that means, what does that mean for the situation is that because we're not clear on what's going on, then we really want to leave this to the side, and it's not one I want to look at anymore. Personally, not really interested. And why trade one? Those are not high probability opportunities. No, it's just no point, right? I mean, you don't want to take a risk, don't want to gamble if it's not worth the hit. Okay. Yeah, the range is clearer on the weekly, as you can see, and no longer really any interested. So we're going to leave this one to the side. Let's move on to pound Swiss. Pound Swiss, another ranging market. We said we wanted to see a break lower before considering the reversal continuing to the upside or the break up here. Neither has happened. We are still ranging. We're still inside this range and waiting to see what the market gives us. Now, if we break above here, then we have this idea, break pulling back and continuing higher, and then this low will become, we go from here, this will now become the new low. However, there's no confirmation of that, so to speak, unless we have a break of this high. If you want to draw a bit of a trend line, we want to see a break of the trend line as well, but the important bit is these highs, these structural highs. So let's see whether this low actually holds and we go higher. So far, we're still back inside the range and we want to see some movement, some clearer momentum. So those are still the two scenarios. We could still drop lower. Who knows? Market could do anything. At the moment, we wait and see. Guys, if you like this video, click like and subscribe to get the notifications, and let's move on to the next chart. Okay, what have we got here for Aussie CAD? Aussie CAD, we looked at a buy scenario, and this was our reference point as the area. What happened? Well, we did not quite reach there, did we? We've created this reversal candle and we did not get our better price. Such is life, such is the market. It does what it wants to do, not what we want to do. And now if we head higher, then, well, then so be it. That's the missed opportunity. Where next? Well, if we break this high, oops, so I wanted to do, let's try again. If we break this high, then you know what I'm going to say, that the next idea will be the break, pull back and continuing to the upside. And if not, if we do get this anyway, coming down into our area, then we'll be interested. By the moment, I don't know whether this is a swing low yet or not. It seems like we are breaking. We have a minor break of structure here, so we do have a break at the moment, and let's see if we have that bigger break to the upside. So far, this is a cheaper price than this high, obviously, but not as cheap as would be ideal for us. Again, if you want, you can draw a Fibonacci from a low, last swing low to the high, and as you can see, we did not hit that 61.8 level. We just kind of floated around the halfway mark, and yeah, this may be a reversal, but not giving us the desired ideal entry. So that's the Aussie CAD scenario, still to the upside. This is still the invalidation point, and that's the idea. Looking at it being bullish, and you can see the bullishness, you can see targets here. So yeah, that's clear. Okay, Aussie New Zealand is the next one, another bullish one, and another one where we had multiple scenarios. And then we said we either have option A, which is this low, preferable, option B, which is break of the high, or option C, which is the least preferable one, which is this one. Now, the interesting thing is that we are actually having that we have, in fact, broken this structural low, and we also went right through it. So now we are chopping up. It's becoming a very choppy scenario. And if you, in fact, now you can look at this as a range, because we have no real clarity about what's going on here. At least that's the way I see it. So now there is a possible idea to enter this. Then the validation will be the last swing low, and this will be idea. However, it's still the least preferable option because the choppiness of this price action is just not clear. So we had this swings formed, we had this low, and then we had the break of this low, and then is this a low or is this a high? These are the tricky situations and tricky times when it's just not worth risking it because we have no clarity. The clarity will now come from the break of the last high, which is this high, which is clear to see. If you look at it on the daily, that's a major high. And then once we have that break, and then come down into this zone. So break, pull back, and continuation higher. It looks like that is perhaps more likely now. However, we'll still leave ourselves open to the fact that if the market wants to break lower than here, can I actually in fact remove this, break lower than here, then we'll look at this downside idea. Again, want to wait for the probabilities to come into our favor. It's always best to actually wait for the daily candle, and let's see whether this day, just remove it, closes above here and above this high, and we continue higher, and this now becomes this swing that was broken, and then this low that was the last low, and this is the next low, and then we're going to head higher into these higher points to the left. So far it's neither here nor there, so we'll leave Aussie New Zealand alone. And finally we are at the Nasdaq or US Tech, whichever you prefer to call it, and the situation was a reach into this high point right here, into this target level. And what did we have? Well, what happened was we started off the week and we reached right into it, and what we were looking at is a possible reversal of it. And if we look on the daily, what we can see is we indeed closed above it. We did not quite poke through it, so to speak. And now the question becomes, are we going to buy or are we going to sell? And if there is a question, then that means it's uncertain and it's more of a gamble. Now, the preference was this downside because we get a cheaper price. And if that failed, then we're also looking at this idea. However, since we had such a push to the upside, it's now not quite clear which way we're going to go. So let's now plan the next scenario. If we are indeed breaking through this high and heading into this high up here on the left, how do we expect to see that? Well, what we would want to see is, I want to see a break of this high. The preference is a break of this high, getting a better price, and then continuing to the upside. So far, we're neither here nor there. You could say that maybe this is a reversal. It poked through the level, this 16,000 level, and then it may be heading lower, but so far there is no clarity. We could still see this low and this high being formed. So is it going higher or are we reversing off the level? When we get these question marks and when it's not quite clear, we want to see for more price action and more clarity. Anything can happen, and this is now becoming kind of a bigger range more than anything else. So we want to see momentum. We want to see price really shifting and giving us clarity. So far, it's neither here nor there. And now these are the two scenarios to watch for. The reversal, I'm not favoring at the moment because of this constant bullishness. There is no clear bearish price action on any time frame. There is no reversal here. Nothing to indicate that we are going to make a retracement or head down even in the near term. So let's leave that alone for now and wait. And now we are back at the dollar after, if we see some clarity in the Nasdaq. So we're back at the dollar and back at the messy scenario here. And really, as you can see, we really have to pick carefully and tread carefully because there are landmines here and there are things that can trip you up. If it's not clear, just wait till the next day. If it's not clear the next day, wait again until the day after. For now, that's just how it goes, and accept the fact that maybe there won't be even any trades and nothing to be taken during the whole week. That could be the case. The point is, if the market gives us the setup and the idea and plays to the scenario we're looking at, then we trade the edge. Otherwise, so be it. C'est la vie. Okay, we'll leave that alone for now and we'll keep monitoring. Have a good trading week, guys, and I'll catch up with you on Friday in 2 days for the market review and a bit of educational content, a bit of a lesson. Let's see what we can pick up from this week, and then we'll see where we end up. Okay, have a good trading week, guys. Good luck, and I'll see you in a bit on the next video.